All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight because we've got a little special ceremony to start our evening. We are going to have the swearing-in ceremony of Trustee Rose Sturts. So I think, Judge Seavey, if you're ready. And someone has the Bible. Bible will be held by Butch Sturts.
Would you come out? Come out in the middle.
Yeah, come out this way.
Come in the middle.
Come out to the middle.
I would just like to take one moment for just a personal reflection. With the course of almost 12 years, you can imagine how many investitures that I've presided over in those 12 years' time. It's probably too many to count. But I will say that this tonight is a special moment for me, and it's more memorable probably than most of the others, because not only is this obviously my backyard, but the people and the citizens of Delhi Township need to all be congratulated on returning a fine leader in re-election of Rose Sturts to this position. I can tell you from personal knowledge that I know that this leadership team here in Delhi is among the very best in this county, and for that matter, throughout the state of Ohio. Rose, Cheryl, Mike, Jim, all four of you work so well together. You have really accomplished a tremendous number of accomplishments for Delhi Township. And it's nice to see that the citizens and the voters of Delhi Township have recognized that this past November. So without further ado, I've got the Rose's family is here tonight. And I'm going to ask Butch if you would hold the Bible. Rose, if you would place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Roseanne K. Sturts,
I, Roseanne K. Sturts,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Delhi Township Trustee
of the office of Delhi Township Trustee
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Trustee.
All right, we're going to take just a pause here so that the family can get some pictures. And then also, for those of you who don't want to stay, would like to go on to the party, we understand, and we'll give you this moment to leave, okay? So.
Solicitation. The little ones ran around and did door-to-door solicitations for us, along with my son and his wife and our daughter and her friends. My sign people, I can't say enough about my sign people. Pat, I mean, we couldn't get enough signs out just to satisfy this man. He would talk to strangers and get a sign for me. I mean, he's remarkable. He and Butch work so well in tandem. Those of you who work my polls for me in the cold, in the wet, had signs for me, whatever. I'm honored that I represented you well for 4 years, or you thought so, and I'm honored that you believe in me representing you again for another 4 years. My mom and dad couldn't be with us tonight, but this is their wedding Bible that I made my took my oath on. So it's near and dear to me and something I'm honored to be able to have used tonight. So God bless all of you. Thank you for believing in me. And here's to a great 2020. Thank you.
Congratulations, Trustee Sturts.
Thank you, Judge. I'm sorry. Thank you, Judge, for your kind words and being swearing me in. I appreciate it.
Okay, last call. Okay, I think the kids are on their way, so they're happy. All right, then. Called to order the Board of Trustees meeting of Delhi Township for January the 8th, 2020. We will open this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Tonight's moment of silence is special prayers for our military, our men and our women who are now on active duty and possibly facing deployment. We pray for their safety, and we are so grateful for their service. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All right. You get to be witnesses to a second ceremony. As is the tradition in Delhi Township, we pass the gavel every year. No one is ever elected president of the board or chairman of the board. So it's an equal opportunity shared by all of us. So this year, I will be passing the gavel to Trustee Davis. Part of what I wanted to do, though, before doing that, was really to tell you that what a privilege it has been to serve as your president. 2019 was really a banner year. It was our first real big step into the development process for economic progress on Delhi Pike. It was our first new housing development, and I really am not sure how many years. Our police deserve all kinds of congratulations for a banner year, as well as having an additional graduate of the FBI Academy. Fire, you've been great as a developer of the We Thrive group. I appreciate that. And all of your restructuring of your manpower only to make us all feel more safe and secure in Delhi Township. The fire department also celebrated a graduate of the National Fire Academy. These are just a few of the things that happened here. We also had the completion of the Park Pavilion, a long-awaited check off that list to have a place in our park to have entertainment and gatherings. And all the new events in the park, all summer long, all fall, through the holidays. And we also would like to say we have the addition of Brian Pacheco as our law director, and he's been a great addition to our team. So to all the department heads, I'd like to say thank you. To our residents, I'd like to say also thank you for extending to me your attention, your support, and your courteous behavior. It's been my honor to serve. And now I will pass the gavel to the new chairman of the board, which you might find different, but the Ohio State Legislature changed the title for township trustees to chairman of the board. There is no vice chair. It's just one chair and two trustees and one fiscal officer. So with that having been said, let's move ahead with nomination of the board chair. Mr. Luby.
Motion for appointment of Board Chair for 2020.
Mrs. Seavey, I move to appoint Trustee Mike Davis as board chair.
I second that motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations to Trustee Davis.
No,
Oh, yeah.
for a day. Thank you so much. And I first want to say thank you to Judge Seavey for the wonderful words. to be back here, to be able to work with Rose and Cheryl and Jim is an absolute honor, and with Jack and just everybody. It just, I don't know how else to say it except kind of what you had said. I feel like we work well together. We've done some good things and better things that are on the horizon here in 2020. I have no doubt in my mind. We have some really good things happening, and we continue to work together, keep our eyes on the prize, and Delhi benefits, I think, and the residents, I think, are really going to enjoy some of the things going on in 2020 and beyond. So I'm excited, and I'm thrilled, and thank you for I can't say for electing me to the chair spot here, but yeah, but it'll be nice. And as we say, great things to come. And I feel like we've only just begun. Things like Remke and everything else going on. I'm just so excited, and I know the residents are kind of wondering what's going on with that. But I promise you, you'll hear lots of communication from us. You'll be involved, and just some of the ideas and plans so far, I think, are going to be wonderful. And that's, as I said, just the beginning. So Delhi's in good hands. That being said, approval of minutes, please. Mr. Luby?
Motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on December 4th, 2019, and dispense with the reading.
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on December 18th, 2019, and dispense with the reading.
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on December 26th, 2019, and dispense with the reading.
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Approval of our bills, please.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Payment of overtime?
Motion to approve the payment of overtime for pay periods ending December 17th and 31st, 2019.
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Report from our fiscal officer, please.
Resolution 2020-001, resolution amending appropriations for expenses, declaring an emergency, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Is there any discussion on this resolution?
You want me to offer some explanation?
Yes, please.
Some, I'll call it Scribner errors in translating from our worksheets to the final appropriation. One number got transposed, so there's no functional change overall. In the permissive tax line, just two numbers had to change. The TIF was a little bit different. I added a line which I didn't add to the final, and it kicked off the debt payment obligation. So that's about $900,000. You knew it was coming, you knew it was part of it, but I didn't have it in the final version, so it needs to be there. So there's no added money, but unfortunately it's a change to start the year to make sure the numbers are proper, and our assistant fiscal officer can put them all in and pay the bills.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes. Thank you. Continue.
Resolution 2020-002, a resolution requesting the county auditor to make advance payments of taxes pursuant to revised code 321.34 and dispense with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Do you have something?
Oh, I was,
No.
this is Mr.
This is pretty much standard procedure. We send a letter each month to the county auditor requesting an advance for our real estate taxes so we can pay our bills.
Explain that. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-003, resolution authorizing the township administrator to spend greater than $10,000 on behalf of the township, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Discussion on this resolution?
Sure. This is the first of its kind. Last year, in November, there was a spending limit change that would take effect January 1st. Previously, anything $750 and above needed board approval. The state allows that limit to be $10,000 just with the value of $1 compared to what it had been. That $750 dated back to 1988 for Delhi, so it was a long time coming that got adjusted. But in talking to Mr. Pacheco about rhyme and reason to where we should put the limit, it made sense to put it at the $10,000 mark. So anything that is $10,000 and above will come in the form of a resolution for your approval. Previously, we didn't do a resolution like that. Anything under 10,000 will just be up to my discretion to approve those like other requisitions. So this resolution you will see, I'm not going to say every meeting because if we don't have a request for 10,000 or above, you wouldn't see it. But it'll be on frequently and just list anything that's 10,000 and above.
I think the state of Ohio actually raised it higher than 10,000. Did they not?
15, Trustee Seavey, that's correct.
Okay, so we're not really going to the max on what is allowable. We're going to the 10, which I think is the right thing for us.
I can put that on for the next meeting.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
This
Well,
was a
and-
big jump.
And, no, it's a big jump, but it should have jumped at some point in the past a few times. But the background of this is talking to Mr. Pacheco about the rhyme and reason when you get a contract in front of you as a resolution is a gray area, and it is not clear in the state law what line there is. So in talking to Mr. Pacheco, it seemed to make sense that wherever the spending limit line is, then that's when something comes to you contractually for approval. So it made sense to raise the limit, otherwise everything 750 and above was going to be coming in front of you in the form of a resolution, and that just doesn't make sense. So that's part of how we got into talking about it and what made sense. You will see all the same things you've always seen from an expense prior to the expense standpoint, meaning you'll get a listing of all the purchase orders from one meeting to the next. So there's no lack of information for you. And then really the biggest thing is I'm on the line between $750 and $10,000 now to be able to explain why that got approved if there is some question about it. And I will say most of our expenses are pretty routine. We don't have
Right.
a lot of things you aren't aware of. It's pretty routine overall.
Okay.
Very good.
I move to dispense the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes. Other transactions?
As far as significant transactions since the last meeting, our payroll on 12/26 was $324,000. That's all I have.
Very good. Trustee correspondence. Trustee Sturts.
Yes, thank you. May not know, but it's been years in the working, but Trustee Seavey has been appointed to the Hamilton County Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency Executive Committee. Is that the proper name of it?
That's the name.
Okay, and how long is your tenure there?
You know what?
You're not even sure.
They don't have a term ending.
Oh, wow, okay.
But
Well, anyway, yeah.
It's an amazing place to be. It's it makes you feel very grateful for Hamilton County and the people running it and the agency itself, but it's an awakening.
Well, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your appointment to that.
Thank you.
And then at the same time, not to toot my own horn, but I just got notice today in our mail that I've been reappointed to the Hamilton County Elderly Services Program, which is in line with Council on Aging. So that's another 3-year term. I've been on it already 3 years, so I was reappointed, and I am the chairperson of that committee also. So proud to be on that. And so good things are being done by all of us up here outside of Delhi, to know that we're open to that and we're taking care of the bigger picture for everybody. So thank you.
Trustee Seavey.
Just a couple things. First off, for those of you who used good manners and followed the signs and obeyed the rules, thank you for your recycling efforts. For those of you who did not, shame on you. We did everything we could to keep those bins moving. I know between Josh and Ron and everybody else, we put out a larger dumpster trying to take care of that holiday rush. And really, there were people who were very, complied with the rules and then there were those who didn't. So thank you to those who did, because it really helped everyone to have that recycling there. The second thing is, on Thursday night, which is tomorrow, which if you see this tomorrow, it's tonight, at 6:30, we have our We Thrive meeting with Delhi Fire at the Neeb Road Station. And for those of you who are not familiar with We Thrive, it is a community effort for health and wellness of Delhi Township residents. So if you would like to volunteer and be part of We Thrive, it's tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Neeb Road Firehouse. That's all.
Very good. Thank you so much. We have a public hearing tonight on our community development for zoning text amendments, if you would, please. Greg?
Motion to approve the opening of the public hearing for amendments to the text of the zoning resolution per case ZC 2019-01.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. DeLong?
Thank you very much. The Zoning Commission had a busy 2019. We've been working on trying to update our zoning resolution. And a few things we worked on in 2019 was House Bill 500 came from the state, which gave us the option as a limited home rule township to not always have to use Hamilton County. We have the option to use Hamilton County Regional Planning for code text and map amendments. So what we've done in Articles, 16 and 23 of our code, we've modified it. That was in your Exhibit A of your packet, to give us the option of not always utilizing this. By not going to Hamilton County for some of our smaller code amendments, we're knocking a month plus off our review process. So that is why we proposed that in that code amendment. Under Section 58, we do have an issue with some residents in our community, unfortunately, that like to leave their trash receptacles at the street. So we have actually written some language to require people to bring them back up to their homes. They can be kept in the front, side, or rear yard. Now, if it is in the front, it needs to be adjacent to your house, not sitting in the middle of your yard. We're not going to be going out chasing trash trucks and all that stuff, so I want the public to be aware of that. And it's going to be a little bit more of a comprehensive enforcement for us because, just because you complain does not mean there's a violation. We'll have to probably do two to three inspections before we'll even issue a violation letter, just to make sure that it is being kept by the street and not maybe you're on vacation, you had a family emergency, things like that. So we are not going to be immediately sending letters to people if they do keep them by the street. But this is just to kind of keep our streets clean. And also, when it's a windy day and they're empty, they tip over and fall into the street. So it can become a safety hazard too. Under Section 59, I think there's quite a few residents, and I know we had one last year that came in here, may be happy about this rule. We're actually putting some regulations in place on the keeping of chickens. These regulations mimic what Hamilton County has. One of the new rules will be the prohibiting of roosters, which has been a big problem for us. Another change is actually regulating the number of chickens. You can have up to 10. So there is that in the code also. But I think the big one for us is probably going to be the crowing of the roosters. And I know we had a resident in here last year with her concerns about noise, and we do receive them quite periodically. The final sections that we did some amendments to were sections 54, 54.1, and then 184.8-5-2. And if you look at the screen, this is what we're trying to regulate. This one was in the newspaper recently with these mini cell towers that a lot of 5G networks are starting to line our public streets with. They are uncooperative on co-locating. So if you have a Sprint, you have an AT&T, you have a Verizon, they all want their own pole. So we've actually, in coordination with Hamilton County Engineers Office and other townships, including Anderson Township, we put together some model language that the county engineer signed off on, that he's okay with the county roads, and all the townships seem to be in agreement with on regulating and controlling these types of structures coming in along our public right-of-ways. So they can go in between the sidewalking and the street is where these things are going. So, and those are the proposals that the zoning commission worked on. They did make a recommendation to approve it with a 5-0 vote. It did go to Hamilton County. They actually approved it with a 5-0 vote with no modifications, and we hope you guys can consider approving it with a 3-0 vote tonight. So, do you have any questions?
Greg, on the chickens.
Yes.
The chicken piece of this whole thing actually came as a result of Delhi Township is part of what's called CLOUT, which is the coalition of the large urban townships. And in the beginning of history in Ohio, townships were basically rural. And so there was a lot of controversy over this chicken rule because now we have dense population, we have dense parcels of property, and actually there are more people in the large urban townships than there are in the traditional townships, and they didn't want to give up the chicken rule. So it was really a fight for Representative Brinkman, Representative Seitz, to really follow through on this chicken request. So thank you to them because we in Delhi have had this issue, and this will resolve it going forward.
Mr. DeLong, if somebody already has parameter or chickens or roosters outside the parameters of what we're proposing, are they grandfathered
Grandfathered in, unfortunately.
until the roosters pass?
Pass, or if anything, well, I know these are hard ones to enforce because, as Mr. Cameron said, how would we know? I mean, this is just tough. I mean, usually we'll get a complaint right away. I think we'd have to base our complaints probably off the current, if they can prove that they had the rooster before, how they prove that to us, we'll have to figure that out. As we are talking about the chickens, I do want to remind residents, if you do get chickens and you put in a coop, you are required a zoning permit to install that coop. That's usually where we catch most people with the chickens, is their neighbor sees something going up in the backyard, calls our department, do they have a permit for this? No, they don't. We go out and inspect, it's a chicken coop, and they actually have greater setback requirements than a shed. They are supposed to be 10 feet from the property lines instead of 3. So there are additional regulations with that. So, yeah, I mean, right now we kind of know where the roosters are because we've had enough complaints about them. So we can, if we start getting more, we'll probably have to
Okay,
kindly say, can you find a farm? So,
great. Thank you.
yeah.
Very good, thank you, great work. So garbage cans in, no roosters, and no cell towers. All right. Is there anyone from the public here who is here to comment on this at all? Very good. We have a motion to close the hearing, please.
Motion to close the public hearing for amendments to the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Public Works is here tonight. We have a public hearing for Public Works, construction, repair, maintenance of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters along various township streets. Another popular item back to back. Good.
A motion to approve the opening of the public hearing for 2020 construction, repair, and maintenance of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters along various township streets.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Ripinger.
Thank you, trustees. This public hearing is to notify the property owners of the necessary repairs to be made in the right-of-way. Over 100 letters have been mailed out to inform the residents of this public hearing, their estimated cost, and how the sidewalk program works. According to our township sidewalk policy, the homeowner has the option of either repairing it themselves or having it done in conjunction with our yearly street rehabilitation project. If the township repairs the sidewalk and/or apron, you will receive a bill after the project is complete. Final bills will not be due until early 2021. We also marked these sidewalks early in 2019. We actually had some of the residents doing some of the work last summer. And in the past 2 weeks with the warmer temperatures and lack of snow, we've had a couple driveways poured where a resident hired their own contractor and already started. So it's going pretty good so far.
All right. unless you're one that has to pay $5,000 to get your sidewalk fixed, and not going to best. And I'm sure that, I know I've gotten my bell rung a couple of times from a few residents. I'm sure you guys have too. Yeah, it's not a fun thing, but it's something that has to happen. And I think you can put on your tax bill for 3
Yeah.
years.
That's correct. It'll run out to 3 years and they'll divide it out. And you can always call our department, which we do receive a lot of calls for this, for any additional questions.
Very good. Thank you. Trustee Sturts?
No, no comment. Thank you.
Trustee Seavey?
Nothing, thank you.
Anyone here from the public commenting on this tonight? Okay, motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing for 2020 construction, repair, and maintenance of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters along various township streets.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
yes.
Yes, motion approved. Police Department, I have nothing on the agenda tonight. Looking good. Trustees, anything for our Police Department?
No.
No?
No. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes. Public Works Department, Ron, you're still here. Thanks for staying. A proclamation recognition, please.
Motion to receive and file the City of Beaver Creek Tornado Relief Assistance Appreciation Proclamation.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
Resolution 2020-004, resolution declaring necessity for Delhi Township Street
Can I
rehabilitation.
interrupt you for a second, please? I like the speed, however. Ron, this was a great day, and it was something where I think the township really shined also with Beaver Creek, so if you want to just talk for a minute there.
Yes, I would like to thank the trustees. I know normally when something like this happens, we send an email out, and without hesitation, the board has always approved that. I know they approved it for the Moscow tornado that went through there. We weren't needed, but they know that we were ready to assist. I know when Beaver Creek came down, and you guys were present for that, but they were really happy that we helped out, and a lot of other local jurisdictions helped out along with us. We kind of teamed up with Green Township, Sims, Anderson, Sycamore, so they all know that all of us helped out, and I'm sure they would return the favor if ever we would need that, which hopefully we don't.
Yeah.
We helped out a little over a week. I think we sent about 3 trucks out there. Teamed up with other jurisdictions out there. Normally, that kind of like us, where we're friends with other jurisdictions local. The problem out there is all their local jurisdictions got affected. That's how bad that storm was. So they had to reach out to further locations. I think we were probably one of the furthest that traveled, but they definitely needed a lot of help. I don't know if anybody's seen some of the pictures. I know it's always available on YouTube and what have you, but the devastation it was bad.
Well, we have kind of a personal connection to that Beaver Creek as well. Beaver Creek is where our former administrator is now city manager, Pete Landrum. So when that hit, we all were like, is he all right? And it actually went, what did he say, like a couple blocks down the road, it actually went past his home. So it was great to see Pete, and we really appreciated that recognition. And he said he was so excited to see the Delhi Township truck pull in.
It really was a great day when they came down. For those of you who can't see, they presented Ron and his group with a picture of our truck when it was sitting up there, framed and signed by all the people from their department. And thanks for that. Plus the proclamation. We're always giving them out, but very seldom do we receive a proclamation. And then they did something that's usually limited to police enforcement and service people, and it's called a challenge coin. And it had Beaver Creek on one side, and I forget what's on the other side, the township and the city. And they presented it to all of us and to the people that were there. And it was just real ceremonial and very meaningful that they did that. So they really were truly thankful.
It's their challenge to pay it forward.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Ron. Resolution 2020-004.
Resolution 2020-004, resolution declaring necessity for Delhi Township Street Rehabilitation and Repair Project 2020-A, and ordering the construction, repair, and maintenance of sidewalks and driveway aprons along these various township streets without petition, establishing tentative assessment estimates against abutting property owners pursuant to revised code 5543.10 declaring an emergency and dispense with second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Yes, it is in conjunction with the hearing we just had, and it just allows us to move forward with the bidding process of the road contract.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes. Resolution approved. Fire Department, nothing on the agenda tonight. All is good, all is well. Parks and Recreation, please, a hiring recommendation.
Motion to approve the hiring of Joseph E. Thiemann as event custodian in the Parks and Recreation Department at a pay rate of $9 per hour upon successful completion of the pre-employment drug testing, background check, and voice stress analyzer, effective January 8th, 2020.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Thank you, Josh.
just briefly might want to mention that we plan or expect to get capital funds for the playground project.
Sure.
And so the timing of that would be July 1st, that with their calendar year, when the funds would be available. So as far as what you would see on the ground is nothing would happen until sometime after July 1st, because we couldn't commit to contracting for something until we have the funds available and can have Mr. Luby say they're available. So as far as that project, it's not going to happen until later in the year. And we're still working on exactly the final disposition of it, but I don't know if you want to mention what the components of it are?
Sure.
The tower, the...
Just replay your presentation, Josh.
Yeah, Jack set it up. You knock it out now.
Yeah. No, thank you, Jack. No, it's a project we're excited about. We had talked about a couple of components, which wasn't necessarily the final project, but components that we wanted to see included. One of them being kind of the centerpiece, a large tower that had a lot of components coming off of it, climbing, sliding, but we wanted this to be prominent, something you could see from the park, from all over the park, from Foley Road, but also something when the kids climb to the top, they could see around, because it is the highest point in the park where we're looking at. So they have this on top of the highest elevation, should be neat for the kids. We also had some other climbing components that kind of hit all the age ranges, not just, you know, your 5-year-old, 6 or 10 or 11 or 12, but also the young kids too. And a couple other things that we really wanted were an ADA accessible surfacing. So we're looking for something that it's not just for, you know, someone who, you know, who can run and jump, but, you know, also for those who have accessibility issues or maybe injured, but this is something, or even young kids, this is something where everybody can come and enjoy sensory products. So we're kind of hitting a little bit of everything for everybody in the township, but we're excited about the project. It's when it's all said and done, I think it's something we're all going to be proud of, and the residents of Delhi will definitely enjoy it, and I think you'll probably see people coming in to travel to Delhi to use it, because it's going to be something that's really going to stand out. So we're excited.
Well, Josh, you did a wonderful job presenting to the Hamilton County Task Force, and now we're moved on to the State Budget Committee, so we're following it carefully. So it's, yeah, it'll take a while. And that's why I thought it was great, Jack, to introduce the timeline on this so that people understand the money line takes a while. So,
Yes.
But thank you, Josh. You did a terrific job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Seavey. Jack? Moving on, administration. Anything? There you go. Community development. Scheduling of a public hearing, please. We'll have a motion on this.
Motion to accept and acknowledge receipt of the zoning commission recommendation in case of ZC 2019-3 and scheduling a public hearing on January 29th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Resolution 2020-005, resolution adopting the recommendation of the Delhi Township Zoning Commission in case of ZC 2019-01 concerning text amendments to the Delhi Township zoning resolution to modify various existing sections and to add regulations permitting and affecting the requirement of the township to submit a proposed zoning amendment or resolution to the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission, the storage of residential trash recycling receptacles, the keeping of chickens, and the installation of small cell facilities or wireless structures, and dispense with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution?
This was presented earlier tonight, unless you changed your mind. And secondly, it will go into effect in 30 days if you do pass it. Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-006, resolution for accumulated debris at 377 Glen Oaks Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
You can see based on the photos, there's debris on the side and on the rear of this property. It was in the condition as you see in the photos, actually a little bit worse this morning, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-007, resolution providing for the removal of a junk motor vehicle at 4800 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Yeah, this property actually has quite a few vehicles being stored on it. This was noticed the day of the Christmas parade by staff. So this is the only vehicle on the property that does meet the definition in the Ohio Revised Code for a junk motor vehicle. It is still sitting there as of this morning, so we do request it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second
New
reading of
rules,
this-
we don't know what we're supposed to be saying. It's hard to break old habits.
All those in favor of the motion to
Yes.
dispense with the second reading of this resolution?
Yes.
Okay, good. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, we're still good.
This is the portion of the meeting for public comments. I don't have anybody signed in here, but does anyone have anything they'd like to say? This would be a perfect time to do it. Mr. Williamson? I can't believe it. Nothing. Pat? Nothing.
Here to enjoy.
Mrs. Burke? Nothing. All right.
She's happy.
Okay. Well, announcement of community events then.
Delhi Township Christmas Tree Recycling will be January 3rd through the 10th during daylight hours, and the drop-off location is at Floral Paradise Gardens at 461 Greenwell Avenue. The Delhi Historical Society program, 50 years ago, How Life Changed Forever, will be Monday, January 13th at 7 p.m. And that will be at the Delhi Park Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. The Oak Hills to host a community session Wednesday, January 15th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. It will be at the Oak Hills Local School District Administrative Office at 6325 Rapid Run Road. The Delhi Branch Library presents And the Crowd Goes Wild on Monday, January 20th at 7 p.m. And that will be at the Delhi Branch Library at 5095 Foley Road.
Thank you so much. We do have need for executive session tonight, so we'll entertain a motion for executive session.
Motion to retire to executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, and/or compensation of a public employees of the township.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes. That will conclude our regular business portion of the meeting. Don't forget, we'll be back here on January 29th. It's always nice. Those watching at home, feel free to come out for a meeting. Starts at 6 p.m. on January 29th. Other than that, we'll go to executive session. Thanks for being here. Congratulations to Rose Sturts one more time, 4 more years. And
Thank you for being
we said lots of great things. And thanks for all the family, friends, and fans of Rose's that came out. So nice seeing a nice packed house. So thank you so much.
Thank you. The party's already started, even though we have executive session.